And now Quincy Jones, a few comments. Quincy?
Thank you. You know what? You give it up and you get it back. You are so beautiful. Thank you so much. The music, it just blew me away. Ellen, roll. It's early in the morning, but I had to give it up. I am so honored, I can't tell you. Now I know why Cosby stayed here so long. I'd like to thank Chairman Louis Rome, and I'd like to wish his wife, Chris, who I spoke with on the phone this morning, that she gets well real fast because she's a really vital lady. And President Harry, singer, actor, we're considering him for the Bob Marley story. And Deborah Merritt for having the, that makes me legitimate here today. It's more than a pleasure to be here this afternoon at the University of Connecticut class of 1996, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. You finally did it. And to accept this honorary doctorate. But you know what? This is something I'll treasure all my life, but I want one of those things that Harry's got on, man. That's serious. That's an award, man. That makes the Legion of Honor look like some lint. I'm sure everybody's anxious to get all these speeches over with, but I accepted this with love, and I wanted to talk to you for just a little while because you get ready to get out there and hit it. And I know you guys are going to help clean up this mess in this country that we have put together. I'm sure you're all anxious to get out there and hit the road. I'm very honored here, proud to be honored here with Francis Visco and Stanford Cloud. These people make me feel very proud, and I'm also proud of his wife, Diane, who is going to be in the Harvard class of '96. And after I leave here at 6 o'clock, I'm going to see my daughter at Harvard, who will be in the class of '97. I finally got one through. I only have 7 kids. It says pro-choice, and obviously I made my choice. The ages range from 3 to 43. So that's consistent. That wasn't an accident. And thinking about it, making it an even number. As a class of 1996, you're all very uniquely positioned to leave an unbelievable mark on this world, and especially on this country. This country now speeding with God's new rules towards the turn of the century. We are officially out of the Industrial Revolution. This is the information century. We're already in it. Information, thinking, computers, all of that technology is some things that you can't even believe are coming. You know, I know you know about 38 gigahertz and all that stuff here. I forgot where I was for a minute. And we don't have to worry too much about. Thank you. Because the computers have a better memory than we do. You'll be in charge of overseeing the implementation and mastering of all these new forms of communication. And I'm not really overwhelmed by technology as guiding us. It's an incredible form of transportation, though. And you will really witness it as from every day here onward. And while the rest of us begin to rely on this new digital community, you will decide what role this new technology will play in our everyday lives. It's a wonderful opportunity for everybody here to shape or reshape the world, starting with education. With fiber optics, the people that missed it the first time can go back and probably get a degree of some sort, not the full thing because she won't have Harry there, on your TV set after it's wired. But with that will come the responsibility of guaranteeing that the converging of these new technologies, no segment of our society is neglected in acquiring the skills necessary to function in this new world. We've got to make sure we include all of the children of the 21st century, particularly our inner city children, with the necessary interactive tools so that they can become familiar with and are able to fully comprehend the opportunities available to them through these mediums. We have to provide access to the information superhighway to everyone, because the biggest problem that we face now in this new century is not just crime, violence, or drugs, but having a segment of society which is unable to function in the new era. It's one thing to not be able to read and write, but to be computer illiterate in the 21st century will be doomed. Today's at-risk youth need to realize that the true empowerment is all about knowledge. It's all that. And it's our responsibility to give them access to the new ways in which knowledge is being delivered. We can't afford to leave anybody out there on the dirt road. No rooms for haves and have-nots. This time around, there's got to be a PC in every pot. And remember, the perception for glass being half empty or half full all depends on who's drinking and who's pouring. The faculty and the programs that you have been exposed to here at this beautiful university have provided you with practical knowledge and cultural understanding to enter this new world in which we live. However, finding the proper balance is really crucial. And above all, don't allow yourselves to become slaves to this life's machinery. We'll have a lot of hardware coming up. So when it seems like it's all too much, let the soul catch up with the body. Go out and find a song you love, a poem that touches your heart, and take the time to let the whispers of God's voice come into your mind. Every day that you wake up, you're still above the ground. That should be the only reason you need to be happy. Our country now is in going through some very heavy times, but we feel it coming and we'll get through it. And you're going to help make that happen. And if you make regular deposits into our emotional bank accounts with courtesy, it's never going out of style, with kindness, with honesty, and keeping our commitments to each other, then the account is high and communication is easy. It's instant and effective. On the other hand, when those things are missing and the account becomes overdrawn, that's when the negativity sets in. In the coming years, you will all be in the business of building and rebuilding, and I know that's what's on your minds now. What do you do next? Please don't get caught up in the trap of polarization and generalization. This propaganda that provokes this, the propaganda that provokes all of this is really a part of a kind of a Machiavellian manipulation, and it's all about votes and all that kind of stuff. Anytime you generalize and say that any group, if you say all of any group, you're in trouble. Just one exception can make you sound like an idiot. If all Irish people are cops, then how come there's a JFK and a F. Scott Fitzgerald or Eugene O'Neill? If all Italians are in the mafia, then how can there be a Francis Coppola, Robert De Niro, Harry Belafonte? If all the Jews have a mercantile heritage, then how come Albert Einstein, Charlie Chaplin, Leonard Bernstein, Whoopi Goldberg? If all African American males are gangbangers, how could there ever be a Bill Cosby, a Michael Jordan, a Colin Powell? You see how silly all this can get. I've been told that our minds retain 10% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, and 80% of what we do. A burning desire to be and do is the starting point from which the dreamers must take off. Dreams are not born from indifference or being lazy or lack of ambition. You must put your desires before the dreams, because execution is the chariot. That's the real chariot. Make yourself a masterpiece. And remember that almost everybody that succeeds in life, they get off to a bad start. That's good, because that's how you learn. So that's what's called experience, and pass through many heartbreaking struggles before they really arrive. The turning point in the lives of those who succeed usually comes at the moment of some crisis through which they're introduced to their other selves, and that's when it happens. Confucius said, the greatest glory is not in never falling, but getting back up every time you fall. That's the whole secret. And if you want to be successful in anything in life, a career, relationship, whatever, remember this quote from Will Rogers: know what you're doing and love what you're doing and believe what you're doing. It's really that simple. And don't ever underestimate the power of visualization. All of us are 20% conscious mind and 80% subconscious mind, and that's the one that does all the work anyway. The subconscious mind doesn't deal with verbal orders. It responds to pictures, and that's why it's important to know and always remember that if you can see it, you can be it, and you have to see it with uncompromising detail, crystalline detail, but see it. And in closing, I'd like to ask you to do a little favor for me. I feel a love in the room, and I feel it through the music, and I feel it from the people that are getting out of school. This one guy didn't graduate. Where was that? What happened to Brett? This one, he flunked, right? That's my friend Brett. Anyway, I'd like to ask everybody to stand up, please, and hold the person's hand next to you. It's not a bad feeling, it's beautiful. And repeat after me. On this day, mend the quarrel. Search out a forgotten friend. Dismiss a suspicion and replace it with a trust. Can't hear you. Write a letter to someone who misses you. Yeah. Encourage a youth who's lost faith. Keep a promise. Forget an old grudge. Examine your demands on others and reduce them. Fight for a principle. Express your gratitude to God. Overcome an old fear. Take 2 minutes to appreciate the beauty of nature. Tell someone you love them. Tell them again. And again. And again. Thank you. While you're standing, I would like to just give you these other words that I was lucky enough to be on with the American delegation at Mandela's inauguration in Pretoria. And in his speech, he said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. And there's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everybody. And so as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And I'd like you to do one more thing for me. I want you to all, the graduating students, to promise me you will never, never, never give up on the war on racism, ignorance, homelessness, cancer, AIDS, and all the diseases. Don't do it for your country. Thank you. Don't do it for your country. Don't do it for the University of Connecticut. Don't even do it for yourself. Do it for your children. It's been an honor for me to stand here before the future leaders of our nation. I thank you. I believe in you, and I expect an awful lot from all of you because I love you. And I'd like to leave the students with one sentence. Don't take any shit.